Okay. GM every today this morning, sir.
That really look like that? Yep.
Yeah. I'm getting a little echo from you just now for some reason.
I think
Oh,
it's from you.
Yeah.
Device.
For sure. Yeah. This test. Okay, we're good now. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it was just on the other tab there. Just check the chat here. GM everybody. No Futures live. ZombieShepherd's live. Excellent. Okay. I guess we can why don't we get right into it? So, oh, is there the Miro board link? Did somebody drop that? Here, I'll drop it here right now. There's the Miro for you guys. Hardcore did a great job with this. Thank you for that. Perfect. Okay. I guess we'll start with outcomes this morning. So the dungeon crawler needs the next step, but I think let's see, is Notorious BTC around? If Oliver Spoon is around in the audience today, I'd love to get you up and touch on your dungeon crawler game. I think it's very interesting. But we kind of discussed it very briefly last weekend, but we should definitely get a in-depth discussion on that, and I'll reach out to him for that. Let's see, raffle tickets and glitter needs work on imitation, and so maybe this is a potential bounty that we can discuss. I don't know like what work, if any work has been done on this yet, or if this is something we're just ideating right now. But yeah, we can definitely discuss that more. If you are interested in working on something like this, then definitely come up on stage and give your take on it. Parcel rolls, where are we at for parcel rolls? That, I mean, I guess when I say that, it's the VRF re-rolls for parcels. Is there anything yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Those will probably be in this week's sprint for the Gotchiverse. As you guys know, we were pretty involved in the last sprint. A lot of stuff being worked on, so we just couldn't make it in. This sprint will be a lot of. It's also pretty ambitious, but I did tell the team last week that we were going to try to get the parcel rolls in for this upcoming sprint. So hopefully by, I think it's March 3rd, we should have it in that sprint. I'll definitely talk to the PM tomorrow and make sure that we get that included.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Sandbox core prop is live. We're going to discuss that in a second. Bonding curve sig props to close and distribute at 25, 25, 25, 25. Both passed, and I guess those will need core props, which I think you guys usually post them on Wednesday or Thursday, right?
Actually, they are currently being finalized, and they're actually already live on Snapshot.
Oh, okay.
They're just like, fresh out of the oven, and
like
we
just
haven't
right now.
Yeah,
because like I just checked Snapshot like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Okay, they just went live.
So we're just checking them to make sure there's no errors in them. Sometimes after you post something, you notice something, but
Right.
generally looks pretty good. So we'll be doing the blog post probably tomorrow.
Okay.
And if there's any other core props that need to be added, we'll get those as well.
The other one, actually, the other one's already live. That's the Infinity Keys core prop, which has met quorum. So congratulations to Chair and his team. Okay, so that covers some of our outcomes, ongoing business. Let's go over to our proposals here. And so we have a couple SIG props to work through. SIG prop, distribute curves die 7030, Aavegotchi DAO, Pixelcraft Studios. That results another way, so that met quorum. SIG prop to turn off the ghost bonding curve. Yes, that was 80% in favor of, and now that's a core prop, so that one's good to go there. Form and fund the curve transition team. It's ending like literally right now, guys. Like if you guys want to go vote, got like 2 hours left, so it'll end probably at the end of this meeting. So if you haven't voted already, just go get your votes in for that. Currently you have 91% in favor of, and it's already met quorum. So 25 25 25 split for curve die. We just talked about that. That one's met quorum with 81% in favor of. And since both of these has passed, the next logical step seems to be the curve transition team, and I think there is a proposal out for that also. So let's go down to core proposals here. Aavegotchi, or let's start with Agip 62 here, Infinity Keys and Aavegotchi partnership. This is to develop Aavegotchi DAO funded a quest, Aavegotchi themed quest through Infinity Keys, which will make a fun onboarding experience into Aavegotchi for people who have never really interacted with an Aavegotchi. That one's met quorum, 9.3 million, and 96% in favor of. We have Agip 63, Aavegotchi, and the Sandbox. We've talked about this quite a bit. We have 50. This one's really close. Actually, has met quorum. 55% in favor of, and 44% against, with 9.3. It's met quorum already, so 9.3 million.
That actually will pass technically because it has a 10% differential, assuming that the vault doesn't change. Looks like the vault is probably going to fund it. It's voting in favor of it, so it looks like that will pass.
Yeah. And that one, how long does that one has 3 days left? So if you haven't voted yet, go ahead and get your votes in. SIG prop to fund Fireball GG team to develop the on-chain guild system. He discussed it a little bit last week. He's welcome to come up here this week, Yannick, if you're in the house. And if you would like to touch on your proposal, you're welcome to. And that one seems to be, well, you got quite a bit of time left, but you have 78% in favor of and 21% against, and not close to meeting quorum yet. So we'll see. Give it some time there. Let me just quickly check snapshot here. And you posted Agip 64, which is closing the ghost bonding curve. That one just went live now. And Agip 65 also just went live now. That's the 25 25 25 split, with the additional 25 going towards player rewards. See, yeah.
Yep. Kudos to the guys for getting that proposal out. We did. It was a lot of discussion around it, and this one won out over our proposal. So pretty cool to see, the DAO in action. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion around that, and yeah, we've come to a conclusion now. So that's awesome. We have some. You know what? We'll come back around to this. Yeah, we'll come back around to this. Let's see if Yannick's in the house. You're welcome to come up here and talk about your on-chain guild proposal if you would like. I see Yannick. Yep, you got your hand up there. GM.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hey, sir.
Just a little bit, I don't know, recap maybe, or because I spoke about this guild system last, and right now the model exists. It's very beautiful. It's high level, but what I think I think it would be. I think I can develop it within our team, and the result will be very good for the DAO. It will be beneficial. People will have some more things to do. They can form these teams. Then after the initial stage, when base model is deployed, I will work with the guild more, collect the data on how they are using NFTs for the guild structure, and we do one more update, which will be more like more how to say it, more advanced one.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's a few things that we like a little bit just touched on last week that I'm kind of curious about is the tournaments, part of the tournaments like module for the guilds, and then I had a few questions about the warehouse. And so the tournaments, is that going to be something that gets organized, I guess, once this model's developed, once you've collected all the data and have established like established all the guilds and what land they own, what inventory they have, their voting power and all that, and the tournaments are something that can be organized after that's all been done, right? Or is that something completely different?
Well, there can be many different types, and I think we will try many different types. First thing, sorry. First, what I want to try is there was very successful experiment with Gotchi board. It was very interactive, and a DAO collected a lot of liquidity. So first thing I want to try is a collaboration with Gotchi board and organize guild-based some kind of tournament based on Alchemica or Glitter or some other kind of actions within Gotchiverse.
So
but
sort of a spending competition, but based on more around guilds rather than individual players.
Yes, and this time you can kind of or group into collaborate with your friends and see how high you can get as a group. So it first type of competition, very obvious one, very similar to what Gotchi board did.
Yeah, it seems like a nice evolution of going from individual players to now having this collaborative aspect to it. We can talk about multipliers and ways of making it more interesting, but I think just even adding the guilds in there, it makes it more interesting than just watching individual players to see who can spend the most. Need a little bit more coordination to make that happen within a guild. So I think that's a great first use case. And when we get the arena in full force, we get the other features in full force. I could see a lot of potential for these tournaments. So yeah, that's awesome. My second question for you is with the warehouses. So the warehouses, I think you might have answered it already in your thread there, but for those of us that maybe haven't read it or weren't there. Um, the warehouses, how is it going to keep track of guild inventory? Is it going to be custodial, like you kind of deposit your items into this like warehouse, which is like a gnosis safe, or like maybe you can just touch on how the warehouse is going to really work with these on-chain guilds.
So once you deployed with the current version, how it's work. Once you have your guild, you created your guild, your guild address is becoming at the same time becoming your like inventory of your guild. And at first, very basic setup, we only guild leader is able to withdraw from inventory. So this will be like very first version, but it will work like this. All other transactions from other members will be forbidden, and only guild leader can withdraw from this address. And if, for example, there'll be a tournament, reward can come directly to their guild inventory, and guild leader can then take and separate it to different buckets or do whatever he wants. That's how it will work from guild perspective.
Okay, yeah.
But
Mhm.
later we can have more configurations. Like there, for example, there can be knights, and knights could also withdraw maybe some kind of token. Maybe they can withdraw Alchemica, but cannot withdraw other. So as we invest more time and effort, there'll be more configurations.
Oh man, this is so awesome. I mean, there are tools that are not quite like this out there that address guilds directly, but like, for example, GMI was looking at adopting guild XYZ file, and we just found that it wasn't really appropriate for what features we have in Aavegotchi. It wasn't really quite as like developed for what we needed. And so it's like actually it's all right for most people using it in Web3 as like their DAO or their for their like guild, but in reality it just didn't have the features to support what we're trying to do, the type of coordination that we're gonna probably want with these things. So to have like a Aavegotchi native guild platform is I mean, that's exciting. It's perfect. Do you want to talk about your beta version, or we're just talking about the alpha version right now? Do you want to touch on any like future features for the beta version, or maybe that's a different conversation? Maybe that's a different
No,
conversation.
because it will change like 80%. It will based on totally on what guilds will have, what they want, and we collect all the data after first release, maybe after first tournament also, and second version will be based on that data.
Okay.
So we have some technology in working, some ideas, but in my proposals they are on high level only because it will change the more data, the more work we do.
Awesome. Yeah, perfect. I'm just gonna read some of the comments here. Troy is saying, I agree, Gotchi board would be even bigger success. Had it not been for the unfortunately timed Polygon gas wars. Yeah, for sure. Wagme showing his support. Yeah. Harambe, these are also the social features we need to spark engagement in the verse long term. Absolutely. And Webb also echoes big support. Also, formalizing guild structure is going to be huge. Strengthening people's ability to coordinate and the avenues for them to do it through. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, good point with Harambe following up also with, you see 10 guild members here, and 5 of them are from maybe different guilds. And so maybe you might want to join a guild. And so, yeah, there's definitely opportunities there, and looking forward to this. Does anybody have any questions right now regarding Yannick's guild proposal here? All right. No, it seems like everybody's on board with this. It's something we, especially as guild leaders, as organization leaders, we definitely see a need for something like this. especially if we're hoping to have more friendly competition and collaborative opportunities amongst us. So thank you for coming up here and sharing this with us. Do you have any final comments or things people might want to look at? I think you have a forum post up right now. Yeah, do you have anything else to add there?
No, just if you are ambitious, I think you should think about creating your guild and do some work inside the Gotchiverse, maybe training, maybe art, like form some teams. And I just have this call to the people: just blog a name and try something.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good call to action there. Awesome. So go check out Yannick's proposal on Chain Guilds. It's live right now. And yeah, you can go and vote on that. Awesome. All right. Next up here, we're going to discuss our DAO media team. And so basically funding to keep these meetings going, to actually, produce content from these meetings and to keep people posted through a newsletter. So just going to run through some of the deliverables. We've been consistently delivering. Not a lot has changed with the deliverables, specifically with this meeting. But yeah, I can just kind of go through some of the things I'm doing: ZombieShepherd, hardcore, no futuristic, and kind of go through our ask there, our budget. So writing a newsletter every week, and so the purpose of the newsletter is to allow people to catch up quickly on the meeting if they missed it. I think it usually takes 3 to 4 minutes to run through there, and also to promote Aavegotchi DAO in these meetings themselves. And so there is a lot more to gain for being at these meetings. So yeah, just basically using the newsletter to promote and to grow the DAO meeting audience, DAO meeting audience attendance. I run these Sunday DAO meetings. I'm happy to continue running them. I enjoy, despite it being early for me to wake up and do these. It's something I look forward to. What we do here, we review active projects, status of funded projects, active bounties. I coordinate between the DAO, Pixelcraft, and community members around planning and promoting Aavegotchi releases and events. We connect with project partners and get them on board for these meetings, and I think that's been a great way to get some really interesting projects like Infinity Keys coming in here and offering Aavegotchi themed quests. Organizing project discussions and connecting with potential partners, assisting in formatting DAO proposals and relaying feedback. This isn't something that I guess is something I was doing as a project manager, but I still get approached, and I'm happy to help people with their proposals if they need help formatting it, or if they have a specific question regarding the process of it. Assisting in formatting DAO proposals, relaying concerns of asset holders at or on Sunday DAO discussions. It's my goal to be at these meetings and be, it's my objective to be, objective about things and kind of take an unbiased approach to a lot of the conversations we have, which, it can be challenging at times. But it's something I try to do, no matter how heated the conversation gets. And providing discussion spaces for ongoing DAO development. So we have multiple shows we do every week. We have our Friday night Syncopator. We have GM with GMI. Come check us out Monday to Friday. We do a Twitter space now every morning. And so giving people space to discuss ongoing things in the DAO, I think is important, following up to these meetings too. And then D work, which we'll talk about here in a second, and setting up DAO bounties for you guys. So those are just some of the things. ZombieShepherd, he's recording, promoting Aavegotchi, community events, DAO calls. He maintains an RSS feed. He's been pretty consistent with that. And so ZombieShepherd, he usually goes through the audio and gets them uploaded to Spotify. And then No Futuristic, he does the live stream and actually chops everything up into little 5 to 8 minute clips. And so there's really no way you can't, miss DAO content. There's something for everybody. And so if you just want a specific part of the meeting, then you got No Futures clips. If you're going for your Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon jog and you want to listen to the Spotify, ZombieShepherd's got you covered. And then one of the most important jobs here, Hardcore curates the weekly mirror boards based on basically relevant and ongoing events in the DAO. And I think a lot of people have really liked these mirror boards. People find them helpful. It's a great way to kind of visualize some of this information, because it can be a lot at times. It can be difficult to understand too. So I think summarizing key ideas in forum posts into concise visual diagrams is really important. And then also maintaining an active workspace throughout the DAO meetings. So you guys will notice sometimes things will get shuffled around or added onto the board during meetings. That's usually Hardcore doing that. And our goal with the mirror board is also get a lot more engagement over time. So if we can find ways to incentivize people to interact with the sticky notes, maybe there's some sort of incentive there. But we definitely want people interacting with this a little bit more. I think sometimes what happens in the DAO meeting chat is things get lost. Things get lost into the chat, and we have to go digging for them to kind of get more context on specific parts of our conversation. And so having that on the mirror board will be really helpful, but that's something we can work. And then providing and maintaining a follow-up space for post-meeting attendees to catch up with meeting boards, and a space for post-meeting comments. That's another thing that we still have to work on. I think getting more engagement after the fact on these boards is going to be important for leaving comments and whatnot. So just a brief kind of overview of what we're doing. Got our content distribution there, the weekly newsletter on Substack, RSS feed. If we do move forward with this plan, we would like to have an Aavegotchi DAO dedicated YouTube channel with all the meeting recordings and clips. And so that would make it a little bit easier for accessibility, and also more recognizable as Aavegotchi DAO YouTube content. And then we also have the DAO Lens account and Twitter. So we also have those available for publishing clips, which we haven't done yet. But if we were to form this media team, we would be, at minimum, at least posting our DAO content, like relevant DAO content on those channels. And then, of course, promoting the DAO meeting on Twitter and other socials to grow audience. So that is kind of our overall plan as a DAO media team. It's not too far off what we already do, just a little bit more formalized with a couple additional deliverables added in. And so we have our budget there, 500 ghosts a week for myself, Hardcore 175, and then Zombie and No Futuristic 100 ghosts a week. And so our ask is for 24 weeks. There's no proposal link. This is just a draft. So just gonna get this out there, discuss it, get some feedback, and take the feedback, and then I can draft up the final proposal to get the SIG route. Let me go back and read some of the comments here. Let's see. Request for the media team. Get us some data on engagement impressions with your content if possible. Bonus visa goals for views, subscribers, impressions. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, yeah, I mean, we could do that. I don't know if we did discuss the KPIs a little bit, but like, I guess the content's important, whether you have 10 people watching it or 50 people watching it. I guess the upside to having KPIs would be if we have like 100 or 1,000 people watching it, we would ask for more money. I guess that's what the only difference it would really make. But like, I don't think we need to justify the importance of it. I think there are a decent amount of people watching it, but it's important regardless of, it's like C-SPAN. Like nobody tracks C-SPAN's viewership. It's like people already recognize that's important content. A lot of it's like archived content too, so it becomes relevant sometimes a few conversations down the line. You're going back and listening to things. That's the way I look at it, but I'd be happy to include some KPIs also.
Just the way that you guys are doing these videos, is it typically, or the way you're thinking of doing them going forward, is it like uploading the whole 2-hour conversation, or is it you're planning to like cut them into smaller clips that are a little bit more digestible?
Definitely digestible clips, and having the long form version is good there for people that want to listen to it. But what I'm finding is most people that listen to the long form version will listen to the RSS feed, like the Spotify episodes, rather than watching the video. No Future does make them into short little, usually around 5 minutes, 5 to 8 minute clips. Just breaking down the specific discussions.
Where are those uploaded? Is it on YouTube or Twitter?
Yeah. So currently they're uploaded to No Future's Gotchi News network. But we want a dedicated YouTube channel, Aavegotchi DAO YouTube channel, where everything will just be posted there and manage the clips and everything. So it's all one place. That would definitely be an improvement, in my opinion.
So this playlist is okay. So it's from the Music City Gotchi Gang, and it's okay. But they're all, let's see. Okay, so it's kind of they all have pretty much the same title. Talking about the snapshot proposals. I'd say the titles you want to work on the titles a lot, because I wouldn't know really what to expect with that clip. Yeah. Titles are like literally the most important thing that you can do if you're gonna spend all the time on YouTube. You gotta think about the title so much, and then the thumbnail as well. It takes more time, but it's like you'll get many more views for whatever your videos you're doing if you spend more time on the title and thumbnail.
I agree. Some of the best videos that I've ever made, I spent like half an hour on the thumbnail trying to figure some sort of artwork for it.
When I used to make content, I mean, I would spend generally the rule of thumb is you want to write at least 20 different titles. Thumbnails are actually a little bit easier because it's literally just YouTube face plus some text and a cool background. But the titles are the hard part.
Yeah.
But it'd be great if we could have more. This is for anyone making Gotchi content. Like, we need to have a bigger presence on YouTube, and the only way to do that is to have good titles, good thumbnails, and good content.
Yeah, absolutely. And this kind of ties in with Choina's point here. If this passes, how will the media be presented? It's currently under myriad of umbrellas, not really unified in any way. And so having it all on one YouTube channel would be the first step. And then also having I definitely advise making better thumbnails, more engaging thumbnails, or just more interesting. So yeah, everything would kind of be like quote unquote like rebranded to Aavegotchi DAO. It would be all us doing it, but represented under the same kind of theme. Thrax made us a media kit a while ago that we should probably implement across this Aavegotchi DAO YouTube channel and some of the other socials we suggested. Yeah. Definitely tighten up our archiving, absolutely. Dr. Wegme, my point is, organized DAO media team looking for funding. 4 people working together alone. Yeah, there should definitely be more formalization to this. Like there will be if this becomes an official team. Aavegotchi.
I think it's great. We don't need formal KPIs, but like you guys as a team should want number to go up.
Yeah,
because that's good for for everyone. So just having some numbers and some basic analytics on viewership and subscribers and things like that. It'll help you to know that you're doing the right. Because this isn't C-SPAN. This is like this is crypto, guys. we got to make this content is to get people to understand what's going on in our ecosystem.
Yeah,
it's not. This is like not like we're not the Senate. I mean, this is the DAO, but it's also a good time to help people understand like the power of what Aavegotchi DAO can control.
I guess if I was to come up with 3 KPIs off the top of my head, which I think would be really useful to us, there would be, of course, what you said, the YouTube viewership. There would be the attendance here. So we have 62 people in the audience right now. I think that's a really good metric to track. And then the third one for me would be newsletter subscribers. So that is a KPI that I track for myself, is how many people are subscribing a month, how many people have subscribed since I started the newsletter. I believe there's about 90 subscriptions to the newsletter right now. So, my plan, my personal goal is to double that in the next quarter. So, things like that. I definitely, I guess I didn't really recognize them as like formal KPIs, but just like personal goals I set for myself. Can definitely make that visible in the proposal as well. Mike Kelm. Just sorry, I'm reading through. There's a lot of comments. It's good. A lot of comments that are not related. Yeah. Just talking about the algorithm. Yeah, absolutely, Wagme. I'm totally on board with that. Formalizing and stepping up. There's a huge opportunity here to make content, incentivize content creators. I mean, we're really excited, guys. Like, one of the reasons why I'm focusing on GMI right now is because I see the potential here for creating content and promoting Aavegotchi, and then also hosting these competitions and stuff. Like Aavegotchi in the next year with the features you guys plan on shipping, I think we're gonna have a lot to do to create content off of and to grow viewership. Like the arena, for example, is something I've been really stoked about for live streaming on Twitch and whatnot. So that's part of me going live on camera. I'm live, I'm here. And so that's another step I'm taking towards professionalism.
Now, honestly, like becoming a crypto YouTuber is it's a good time because the bull is coming back at some point. Good time to get started and if anyone is interested in that career path, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of good content to create out there. I would do it, but I literally don't have time. But I do like creating content. It's fun. The grind is fun. Fun grind.
Oh man, it's the best feeling when you look at your polished video and you get that up and you hit the upload button and you see it go up onto the interwebs. It's the best, most satisfying feeling in my opinion.
It's yeah. Who can make the best face on YouTube? That's what it's all about. Just get on a roller coaster and then just film yourself on the roller coaster and use that as your thumbnail.
Oh man. All right, well, I'm getting good sentiment from this. We'll definitely get something more formalized together for you guys. I'm going to take your feedback into account here and definitely provide some milestones for us, some KPIs that we want to work towards, and then we'll get something more formal out there over this next week. So that covers like the main discussions for the meeting today. I wanted to touch on D-work and take you guys through that. Maybe get some of you signed up here, do a little testing. We have a bounty available. But Coder Dan, before we do that, is there anything that you want to touch on for the meeting today? Is there anything you want to bring up?
I wasn't sure if we are having a conversation with a couple of the DAO members about liquidity for Ghost coming up pre-curve. So there's kind of like pre-curve liquidity and post-curve liquidity. I wasn't sure if Dr. Wagme wanted to share anything, the thoughts that they've been having on that. And we were trying to get one of the guys that's been working with us from Polygon side. I don't think he's gonna come today. We didn't give him quite enough notice, but we are going to have a call with him tomorrow and kind of get his perspective on Balancer. And then we have a call with QuickSwap coming up on Tuesday to see, basically try and negotiate a syrup, like a good terms for a syrup pool. So there's a lot of stuff happening, but we really just need to, as a DAO, kind of want to pick a strategy and go for that. So Dr. Wyden can probably talk more about the specifics.
Sure.
GM.
And there's a lot to talk about here, but I have a little bit of time. So basically, like Dan mentioned, there's a pre-curve closure and post-curve closure liquidity plan that we need. And then we also need long-term plan treasury management. So we're tabling like what are we doing with treasury management for long-term. We just really need to address what we're doing for liquidity in the short term. And then triaging what we need to do in order, having a strong, or at least strong enough pre-curve closure liquidity plan is important. And this is complicated from a DAO perspective because there's not much time, right? So the core prop went live to close the curve today. And then we're going to go through the process of making that happen on mainnet. So with a possible like actual curve closure by May 5th. So that's 2 weeks from today. So we have maybe 2 weeks or less to get good enough pre-curve closure liquidity in place, which means like we have to submit something ASAP. So look for, March 5th, sorry. I think I'm just excited about Cinco de Mayo already. So we have 2 weeks to make it happen. And so I expect something from the curve transition team this week outlining potential options for us to provide liquidity. Just speaking out loud with different options for this. So, we have 750,000 in stables available in our DAO treasury. We have to have some set aside for the farming because it looks like their core prop is going to pass. And so that plus our treasury ghost to help provide liquidity pre-closure. One of the options for this would be to do a 20 pool on Balancer where we have 80% in Ghost and 20% in stablecoin of our choice. Currently, in BNDI, it could make sense to do it in UC as that's where our other liquidity is at. So if we were to do this, that generally the thought process of 80-20 is that if token price is going up, you want the token that's going up to be in the 80%. So for the we risk impermanent loss with this process. But if we did an 80-20 pool where we have a lot of Ghost and a little bit of DAI, for example, like 2.3 million Ghosts and 750,000 in a stable coin, we would have deep liquidity for Ghost purchases. We would be able to facilitate people entering the ecosystem and get some Ghost and not experience really severe impermanent loss as a DAO. And if we expect like numbers like Ghost at $3 or $4, the impermanent loss can become pretty big in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's a really key decision for us to consider how we're providing liquidity as a DAO and also feel like we're accessible for the hype around this so people can buy Ghost and get in if they want. So that's one of the leading contenders is to get liquidity pre-curve closure via that method, but it's a big number, right? If we did that proposal, that would be over $3 million worth of DAO treasury going into liquidity before closure. Another option would be to try to incentivize our current Ghost USDC pool with some sort of liquidity mining program. And pool is kind of in trouble right now. So with the recent Ghost spike, a lot of people have withdrawn their stake, worried themselves about impermanent loss and wanting more Ghost exposure. And the largest person in the pool is about to withdraw their stake, which is 43% of the current pool. So we're going to be down to just over $1 million in total liquidity, decentralized liquidity, which really isn't ample, and will likely be a big turnoff to people looking to get into our ecosystem if there's just enormous slippage to even buy the token. So we need to get liquidity in. We probably need some sort of liquidity mining program, and then we need to really understand our partners on Polygon from a balancer and QuickSwap perspective, like what they can do for us, and take those rewards into account when we design whatever system we want to go with. So expect more from us this week. There'll be a lot to read on for the DeFi people. It should make sense for the non-DeFi people. This is probably going to be a little bit above your heads, but we have a lot of people working on a strong plan, and I appreciate the support from the Pixelcraft team in leveraging their partnerships. Any questions on that or short-term clarification needed?
So 80-20 is a possibility. We did talk about 75-25 as well. Be a little bit friendlier to those looking to offload, but does anyone have any thoughts on 80-20 versus 75-25?
And as far as like the offloading, so the DAO is going to have a big chunk of DAI that's specifically set aside for liquidity after curve closure. So an option for us would be to kind of transition from the 80-20 or 75-25 pool to a more evenly matched pool after the period of volatility and impermanent loss risk has passed. So you can imagine the DAO would do a big chunk in 80-20. We go through price volatility, we're at a more stable point, and then we move from an 80-20 to like a 50-50 strategy using our stable coins after closure with our Ghost that remains paired in the 80-20 pool. And then this could kind of help stabilize price there. That would provide some liquidity for those looking to like take profits on Ghost, which is sure to happen after the volatile period, and then kind of help us reach a nice, as stable or even point as we're going to get post curve closure. Web is asking, is Zointon looking at more than a two-way pool? I think that would be too complicated right now. It gets a little bit into long-term treasury management, which we still need to discuss and are just kind of hoping to table for now as we're looking to get more liquidity in place.
Yes, Tommy Gotchi brings up the point. Uniswap V3. So QuickSwap also has their V3, and they also have the same management by Gamma. That would be another option. I don't have any specifics on. We'd have to ask QuickSwap what the difference in impermanent loss is with V3 compared to V2 pool. Like a 50-50 pool on V3 might have much lower impermanent loss if you do kind of, they have like a wide versus narrow pool. So I imagine for the DAO, we would be doing like a more narrow pool that covers, a wider pool that covers a bigger range of prices. But I think you earn less fees. That's like the downside to it. That could also be an option. We'll probably discuss that with them on Tuesday.
And there would be no liquidity mining rewards from Uniswap. Also,
from Uniswap, definitely no. I think they're not. Yeah, this would be more for QuickSwap. I think there's a chance we could get some quick rewards back. I think a pretty good chance for QuickSwap, but Uniswap, yeah, forget it.
Right. That's kind of where we're at. We're working really hard on that. Maxi Crouton is working on kind of drafting up our current options to get those in front of the DAO ASAP, and then we'll try to have some sort of SIG prop in front of the community. soon. I have to go shortly, but I was hoping to talk a little bit about the Forge team prop that's coming up this week. Is that okay, Hefe?
Yeah, absolutely.
So just putting this here again. So we've been working really hard on thinking about the Forge team. We had like that, the big DAO leadership team discussion over the last couple months, and we narrowed our scope towards just working on the Forge, just working on Forge expansions, adding value to the protocol, developing the protocol, and specifically adding value to protocol assets. So what we would like to do is keep working for the DAO, keep adding as much value as we can. We're super excited for Forge launch on the 22nd here in just a couple days. And we're going to have the big sale on Wednesday, I believe, too, which will help drive revenue and pay for, hopefully do more than pay for what the Forge team has been paid thus far. But we would love to keep working for the DAO. We have a couple ideas outlined there in the Forge roadmap as far as evolving pets, helping people design their own backgrounds and having a pathway to have more backgrounds than just the Haunt 1 backgrounds, developing a new BRS modifying slot, both to add value to protocol assets, to drive engagement through the Forge, and then that would also be a nice mix-up for rarity farming as we try to iterate on what a healthy rarity farming process looks like. Then other options too that aren't included on the roadmap would be to have vanity wearables or non-BRS modifying wearables, and kind of bringing that to fruition, kind of like skins for our wearables, which I think would actually be pretty feasible and perhaps like a 5th expansion that we could fit in. So the idea is just to build and do as much as we can without taking up bandwidth from the Pixelcraft team, but also add value to native protocol assets, and through sales of schematics this week and cores this week, probably no further core sales for a while, but be able to generate revenue to at least pay for ourselves, if not more, and protocol rewards. So I have the big kind of roadmap laid out there, and the second tab is the budget for the 4-member team. And then earlier in the chat, I posted kind of what my role is to add clarity on what some of my specific deliverables for my role would be. And I have a couple minutes for questions. If you, or Dan, have any, I'll read through chat.
Custom backgrounds, I don't like those are already done as far as the actual BRS slot. So what would the work be involved in setting that up? There's
right.
there's no smart contract. There's less smart contract work. There might be some, but the majority, I mean, it's just creating the backgrounds, right? And
yep. I mean, basically, how are we giving that value to people? Right? Are we going to capture that value through Haunt 1 backgrounds and just give it to Haunt 1 people? Or are we going to reward it through you have to pay for it with Alloy? Does it just get dropped to Aavegotchi? How many backgrounds? If a guild wants a background, do they need a special background where they can mint lots of them? Are we going to cap the numbers or not? So I think there's a lot of work to be done to make it thoughtful and then to maximize community created content, and then also to have a process in place to if people are customizing their own background, how do we review that to make sure it's Gotchi friendly and fits with our themes? So I think there's a fair work that needs to be done to roll it out in a really good way. But I think there's a huge opportunity there for both engagement and then hopefully fun translations to Gotchiverse Play too.
Yeah, I love the idea of almost anyone being able to create a background. We would love to have Pixelcraft background, or guilds could have guild specific backgrounds. Because as you guys can see in the Gotchiverse, we're starting to emphasize the backgrounds more. You can see it on your Gotchi avatar in the bottom left. You can see it in the super chat. There's going to be a couple other places where the background will be obvious. So there'll be more relationship between you and your background and other people who have that same background. So I definitely think backgrounds are a great idea. We should start prioritizing.
Yep, we're super excited about that, and it should be really fun.
What is that? What's that trying to solve? What's the the TLDR and what that would be doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a general hypothesis that if you forge an item or like help like raise a pet, that you'll be like more attached to it and have like something that you love, right? So I think we are really attached to our pets in the Gotchiverse. Like we love our sus butterfly and Ruffles, and the idea that you could like have a pet, you could feed it Alchemica, serve as like Alchemica sink, and then if you smelted it, you would get the next level rarity tier schematic, so you could forge or evolve your pet. And this loop could work for any, right? If you had a bow, the common bow, or I guess we have our longbow right now, but you could evolve that or level that up to get the new schematic via a variety of different pathways, and you can have a path towards progression that serves as a sink and would basically be non-inflationary by just providing you the next schematic. So for pets, right? So Geo is the new common pet. You can imagine that Geo could evolve from the common pet that he is all the way to this like godlike fire rock beast, and you could accomplish getting that godlike schematic via a variety of economic engagement. The low-hanging fruit would be to like use Alchemica. So we could have a strong Alchemica sink to have an upgradable path towards items that hopefully you're attached to in the game. And
So you said that like you could sacrifice a common pet and you could get an uncommon pet.
Yep. So imagine, yeah. So I feed my common pet. I feed Geo, 50 ghost worth of Alchemica, and then I smelt him, and then I would get the uncommon schematic for Geo version 2. And so I would still need the uncommon core, and I would still need the extra alloy to evolve him or to have that evolved version. So it's non-inflationary in that way because there's no new cores, there's no new alloy introduced, but now there's market interest in having that next level pet up.
I guess it's inflating the item, the specific item, like it's creating more of that. You could potentially have 1,000 uncommon items, right? Because you get more schematics.
No, I think we'd probably limit it to first come, first serve, right? Just 500. But I don't know. I mean, that's part of the work that needs to be done, is to like fully flesh out and develop these to make sure that that's feasible. And it's like a lot of work to take on. And we have the team that would do that. And then all of this would work through the DAO for like clarification to make sure everyone is on board with the plan for these things. But it needs work. But that's the general idea.
May I please ask, how do you mentioned it will be nice Alchemica burn, but Alchemica burn is not, there is price to it because you pay with rarity. So there will be more rare items will be diluted more. There will be more godlikes, more mystics, because people will upgrade their lower tier items with Alchemica. How will
there
fight
couldn't be
it?
any more than there are currently because that's limited by the cores. So unless we sold more cores, there couldn't possibly be more than there are currently of the next level up.
But you need to sell cores to make mechanic works, like to make people, to turn on in sync. You need more cores. Otherwise, it makes no sense. So you will produce more cores.
Well, I mean, that's the decision that we have to make as a DAO, right? Do we want to drive value into the current wearables and make, an uncommon that has a core? Or do we want to accept some amount of inflation and sell cores to drive revenue and then essentially capture that value into Ghost instead of the native NFT assets? So that economic analysis is what we need.
That conversation's been going on, and like there's definitely a large group of the community that is not happy with how wearables got inflated to support Ghost staking. So I would expect that conversation to start up again. I don't think it's the best path to go down because we've already kind of gone down that path, and a lot of people weren't happy with how things went. But maybe there could be, instead of like inflating the rarity, maybe it could be kind of like a crest or like a gem that you add onto the wearable. So it's still a common, but there's maybe like an added ability or something that you get from it. But you're not actually smelting it down and creating like an uncommon item. Because I think that adds a lot of complexity to everything in the ecosystem.
Or you can simply just produce the same amount of other items in proportion. Like don't only print the godlikes, print commons also in proportion, and you will have this beautiful cross item flow. But just don't kill rarity, because it will kill the game.
Yeah, I guess I'm not understanding how you think it kills rarity if we're not inflating cores.
Oh, I think
But
the idea is that there will be a discussion later that says, "Hey guys, maybe we should have more cores. Maybe it's good for
yeah,
us
because game will not
community
start.
itself."
Like how you will not start the game if you don't produce cores, and you will produce cores and then inflation will start. So before that starting, please don't kill rarity. Keep it in mind. That's my only worry.
Yeah, well, just to be clear, I'm not proposing that we to do that, right? I think that we would just be proposing like no core increase, but a pathway towards getting the new schematics. And like that, and in that way we capture value with existing wearables. This would be funneling all value core owners. So this whole effort is to add value to native asset holders, not dilute them.
Okay. I mean, I think there's a good discussion to be had around all these aspects. You kind of broken down what you guys are planning to do under the Forge projects. I think we should continue the discussion kind of in a forum chat for anybody that has specific questions regarding like the pet mechanic or that. But I think the gist of it, what I'm getting here, is this is going to be a lot of work. And playing other games and seeing them go through the challenges with balancing economy, it looks like it can be pretty challenging. So it is, we would want to have like a team that's working on this sort of thing to make sure that things are balanced. And if anybody has, let me look here, if anybody has more specific questions, you guys have a forum thread going on where people can follow up on more specific things. Is that in the DAO forum here, or is that in the OG one, the main forum?
So, I mean, I guess the discussion is about, do we want to fund the Forge team to develop these things or not? It's not to have a full dive into evolving pets, which would be a lot more fleshed out. That's what we're asking for, in the same way that the farmie is looking to build and add value. And so is Yannick. Like, though, are we? And our Forge debuts here on the 22nd, which I think is going to be a hit. I hope so. I hope the community likes it. I would definitely want feedback from you guys, but we would love to keep building for the DAO if you guys wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I gotta go, but I appreciate you guys and hear more from us this week.
Absolutely, sounds good. Thank you for your time.
Take care.
Right on. Okay, I guess we can. So you have the document there. If you guys need to follow up, you know what to do. Let's move on here to D work here, and let's get you guys. You're all at this meeting, so I'm gonna drop this link right here. This is an invite link to the D work. Pretty much anybody if you have the Gotchi Gang role already, you should have access to being able to claim tasks. Why don't y'all just go through that link right now? You may have to sign up. It's a very quick process. So if you haven't already, you might have to connect either your Discord, or you can do it through your MetaMask wallet address. But no need to have that fully set up right now. I just want to get you access to the link. There's 75 of you in here, so please check that out. I know a lot of you probably do want to contribute in some way or another. We're going to have some really easy bounties up there. We're going to have some more challenging bounties up there. But ultimately, my goal for the next 3 weeks here is to try and get a little adoption. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go through a little workshop here, and I'm going to take you through some of the features If you're watching the live stream there, I have the D-Work open, and just quickly take you through where we're at and how we're going to use this. So I'm really excited. We've been talking about D-Work for and finally I feel comfortable. I feel ready to start kind of throwing some bounties out there. Kind of coincides with ETH Denver and some bounties we have planned specifically for ETH Denver, which we'll be getting up there pretty soon. But right now, I just want to get up an easy bounty up there for us to play around with, and just get people familiar with claiming tasks. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, Choina, thank you. Awesome. There's the stream there if you want to look at the D-Work. I'll give you guys a minute. Actually, I'm gonna have a drink here. So. All right. Actually, I've invited you to view the board. This was the link that you should be. The invite link's fine, but this is the contributor link, though. If you click on that, you'll be added as a contributor. So to the main Aavegotchi D-Work. And so we'll get y'all in as contributors. So you'll see here, when you look at the main Aavegotchi DAO page, you have two kind of sections. One section is DAO contributor tasks and DAO leadership. And so we're going to leave leadership aside for now. We're going to focus on DAO contributor tasks because that's where everybody will be. Most people will be playing around with this space here. So DAO contributor tasks. And once you're in DAO contributor tasks, you have this ability to have nested spaces within this space. And so the idea here with DAO contributor tasks is whenever there is a project or an initiative that someone is interested in carrying out for the DAO, like for example, ETH Denver 2023, we have an initiative out there for that. And so we've created a space here, and you'll have to get in touch with me. And so if you're working on a big project, I'd love to see you using the DAO space. I think it's good for kind of transparency, but also it's a great way to issue bounties. So if you're planning to issue bounties, especially if you're planning to issue bounties to the DAO, to the greater DAO, to contributors, I would recommend getting in touch with me, and I can help you get a space set up for your guild. I can get a space set up for your project, and I can set up the necessary permissions for you guys to issue your bounties through there. So yeah, everything's token gated. I'm not going to go into the backend features, but if you go to spaces here, the ETH Denver 2023 space that we started, this is where you'd find any builder, any bounties related to ETH Denver 2023. So you see here, there's 4 tabs kind of on this Kanban board. You got to do, in progress, in review, and done. And so let's just dive into a bounty here. ETH Denver pitches. So the ETH Denver street team wants your input. Let's bring this up here. And so basically the purpose of this task, we kind of mentioned it a few weeks ago, but the task here is to basically just suggest some basic elevator pitches that you think would be useful for us to keep in mind at ETH Denver. And so these would be kind of things just delivered during quick interactions at ETH Denver venues that we're going to be at. And so we identified a few different audiences and, maybe how you want to frame this to different Aavegotchi or different audiences. Sorry. So the pitches usually are short, concise, and we're not going to be smoke screens. We're not going to be like going Billy Mays on people here. we want to be very approachable and friendly, and honestly just vibe with people. But it's important to keep in mind what audience you're trying to address, because not everybody is going to be at ETH Denver for the same thing. And so here's the deal. Here's the deal for the bounty. We want 6 to 12 pitches from you guys. Have a look at the audiences, keep that in mind when you're formulating your pitches. But we want between 6 and 12. And so, we're thinking, between 1 and 2 for kind of addressing each of the audiences there, or, some pitches may address multiple, but 6 to 12. And what we're going to do is for each pitch that we review, and the ETH Denver team will be reviewing these. So for each one, we're going to do a little vote on it. And the best pitches are going to get a little 5 ghost bounty each. But we're going to go and take these pitches to ETH Denver. We're going to use them. Whatever we think worked out best is going to get 100 ghosts. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know it's only 5 ghosts, but if we actually end up using it, we find what your contribution is, you'll get 100 ghosts. And so I don't want you guys to look at the ghost amount here. I essentially want people just to engage with this and start to learn how to use it. Of course, there will be bigger bounties on here, and we can eventually assign task points and whatnot. They'll give people access to the bigger jobs, and I think it's a great way to build trust in our DAO. So yeah, I would recommend giving it a crack. And if you have something to contribute here, so if you let's say you have a pitch that you want to, you have a good idea, something that we can really use at ETH Denver, you go down here, you go to submit work, and you basically just put in your pitch, just write it out. Like, what do you think? What would you say to the specific audience? You can address your audience, or you can just literally just write a pitch. Like, you can just write it out there and then you submit it. So once you've written it out, here, actually, I'll do this. I'll copy one of the examples. And so let's say this is my pitch here, and I'll submit this as work. And then it says down here, this is my submission here. So these are going to be pending submissions, and then we can decide to approve or reject them. So when we approve them, they'll be eligible for this. So that's the gist of it. That's kind of where we want to start. And of course, on my end, once these things are done, I can move them around. And then also, I don't know, Coder Dan, I don't know if we've opened up the community bounties channel, but we'll definitely open that up whenever you get a chance. I don't think it's like, it doesn't have to be done right now. But basically, you can look in community bounties and you'll be able to see, you'll be able to get live updates on what's going on, who's taking the bounties, whether any of these were paid out, the status of the bounties. All that.
Do you need like a pin message or something that people know how to use it? Might be helpful.
Yeah, I can write out a pin message and just pin it to the channel. I think it's a good idea. I'll definitely add that in after the meeting. But that's the gist of it. I just want people to start using it. Let's get people onboarded. Of course, there'll be bigger and better bounties out there. But ultimately, we just want some engagement here and get people signed up. So that's just the starting point. And yeah. So that's just a little D-work demo there. But we'll definitely have more bounties for you guys to grab. And following up on that, I think we should talk about... dang, let me just pull up my notes here real quick. I did make some notes about this. We'll need dedicated reviewers for work, right? So in this case, it was really easy for us to pick some reviewers. We said, you guys are going to be submitting work in regards to Denver, and so it made sense just to have our reviewers be the core team that's going to be at Denver using the results of this. But what do we do for other projects? Like, do we want each project to just come forward with their own reviewers? So this is my project, this is our space, and these are our bounties, and we're going to review the bounties. We're going to review the task submissions and get the bounty out to whoever we think is deserving of it. Do we want to do it that way? Or do we want to go a little bit less biased and have a dedicated D-work review team that would actually be reviewing these bounties? There's pros and cons to both, but I'm curious to know what you guys think on the review aspect of things.
It depends, I guess, if the DAO is making a a grant or a bounty, then what it kind of sounded like you said there was like, would this be like an external party coming in and making a bounty, or are we talking about if the DAO creates a bounty? Because if it's right now, it's this bounty that you guys are talking about. This is you got a budget from the DAO to do this, and it sounds like you're using part of that budget to do the elevator pitch. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. It's coming from our own pool. We have a bounty pool. We did say when we submitted for that bounty pool that we would make sure that we try and have some things for other people to do, regardless if it's core team or not. And so that's kind of the first example of that. But like, we were just talking about the Forge, right? So let's say Dr. Wagme and his team, they're working on something, but they need something from the community. Maybe they need a little marketing. And so do we want the Forge team reviewing the bounty submissions for their own bounty? Or do we want a review team, like kind of like an external review team saying, this is a good bounty, it's accepted, or this is a bad one, rejected? Like,
I think if they're the one, whoever's spending the money should be reviewing it. So if the DAO team or if the Forge team, which is like kind of, they're becoming like kind of like a contractor with the DAO in a way, they have some budget from the DAO. They can spend that budget to make a bounty in the DAO, or they could do it anywhere. It doesn't have to be the Aavegotchi DAO D-work. It could be any D-work, right? So at the end of the day, they're the ones reviewing it because they have the work that needs to be reviewed and done. But if it's the DAO creating a bounty, like the DAO wants to fund something, then that's when you would need someone to review it.
Okay.
But if maybe we don't, maybe it sounds like there's been a couple weeks of discussion on this, like DAO leadership team or whatever. It seems like that is not going to happen.
Yeah, that's just to be blunt, that's totally not going to happen. I think what happened there is the people weren't really receptive to that idea, and so what happened is the Forge team is going to do what they do best, and they're going to narrow their scope and just focus on that. And then basically the media team will focus on running these meetings and disseminating information. And I can do as much as I can with helping run the D work, set up bounties and that. So that'll be part of my but I mean, I guess I shouldn't be the only reviewer for DAO issued bounties. So maybe we need to think of a backup team, like if the DAO was to issue a bounty, these are the dedicated reviewers. But maybe, we'll have to.
I guess with this way that it seems to be going, at least for now, that if someone maybe the DAO doesn't issue a bounty, maybe a team is formed in that with that expertise. You have your media team or the Forge team, and then they ask for a budget from the DAO, and then they would use part of that budget for the bounties, and that would be one way of doing it. I think
that's kind of how I envision it right now. Is the core teams ask what you just said there? Like, let's say the DAO has a problem that we need to fix. You and I would be at this meeting saying the DAO needs this. Like, we need this problem fixed. And then you'd have multiple teams probably coming up and saying our team can handle this, or our team will take this on, and then we throw the bounty out there on D work and let them bid on it, because that's another feature is you can let teams bid on the work. And so we don't necessarily need to set the bounties. We can put the bounty out there and say, hey, look, we're gonna run a 1 week auction basically on this bounty, and whoever whichever team can do it for the most reasonable price will get awarded the bounty. And then they get their own space on D work, and then whatever bounties they issue are issued through their space, and then they would be also the ones reviewing and approving their own bounties. I think that would probably be the most decentralized way to do it. Yeah.
Wait, so the people receiving the bounty would also be the ones reviewing it?
No, sorry. The people issuing the bounty. Issuing the bounties could be the ones reviewing it.
Okay, and in that situation, the ones issuing the bounty are like a subgroup of the DAO.
Yeah, or it could be a team. Like, let's say we have a problem regarding the subgraph or something, and we put that out there during the meeting, and let's say Yannick comes up from Fireball GG and says, "Hey, look, we're interested in taking this on. We're going to apply for, we're going to apply for this bounty, and this is how much we can do it for." And then maybe another team comes in and says, "Hey, look, we can do it too, but we can do it for this price." And then, basically whoever can do it for the best price would get awarded the bounty. And then
but who's reviewing it, right?
it would be the team that gets. Sorry, I'm confusing. I may be confusing terms here. The bounty would be the amount rewarded. The task would be what gets assigned to whoever can offer the best price to do the work. So, like, let's say Yannick's team takes it on and says, "We will take care of this problem." So they would then get funding for whatever amount that they bid on. The DAO would say, "Okay, here's your money," and then they would run their own D work. Sorry, not their own D work, but their own space nested in D work, like what we see here with ETH Denver 2023, and whatever bounties they wanted to issue through there, from their funding, they could do that, or they could just take the whole bounty and just do all the work themselves. But what I'm saying is they would have a space to issue work externally to the DAO if they needed to.
So the DAO would basically say, in a meeting, it might come up like, "Well, we have this issue that we need to solve," and then you're saying a sub team could then make a proposal to the DAO that says, "We want to solve this problem, and
Yeah.
here's we're asking for this amount of ghosts." Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much what we're doing now.
Yeah, it's not too far off what we're doing, honestly. But I guess where we're getting hung up, and the reason why it took so long to implement D work is because we thought there'd be some sort of a hierarchical, like, leadership structure over the D work, which is actually not necessary for D work to work, like for it to actually function. You just need someone who can issue the bounties and actually do like the back end stuff, like one person. Everything
I guess
else.
the question is, who's reviewing the work of, like,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
so when you get to like the Gotchi Farmy or the
Mhm.
Forge or any DAO funded project, who's reviewing the actual implementation of what they
The
said
finished
they were
work.
going to do? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about reviewers on two ends of the thing. So there's the reviewers that on issuance, you would like that would be the teams, but then also after the fact to review the work that was done for the DAO. That is also something that would need to be addressed. That's where probably a review committee would be really useful, is to have a dedicated DAO review committee reviewing finished work, like what's been done. And for that, you probably need, what I've suggested is having, a group of individuals as the D work committee, and having those individuals paid per order of work that they did. So it wouldn't be like a retainer thing. It would be like, you reviewed this bounty, and this is your payment for reviewing this bounty.
Maybe, but then then you have to have someone review the reviewer and say that
It's reviewers all the way down, my friend. It's just reviewing.
when it's not clear if
Yeah.
if it's a yes or no, if something happens or doesn't happen, then it's pretty easy. But if it's like, was this code implemented correctly, and let's take the most annoying example, creating a UI design for something. Oh my god, we've gone through endless like headaches with this one, because there's no objective yes or no. Is this a great UI design or not? It's just someone creates it. Like we worked very early on with one of these like DAO contracting guilds, and it was, the thing they did was awful. But we ended up paying them for it anyway. But it was like, we were not really happy with it, but that's the best that they could do. That's not a situation you want, where someone does literally the best that they can do, and it's just not good enough. And like, we really shouldn't pay you for this, but you can't actually do this work.
Yeah, that would be. Let's see. I'm just going to read the comments. Maybe some of our friends have some insights here with this. Michael F., I think you're kind of summarizing what Coder Dan just said. Who is responsible for reviewing projects outside of D-Work? And the Forge won't be the only one asking for six-figure funding. Yeah, absolutely. These reviews should be a mix of external and DAO members. Can you specify like external? Like we would be hiring external help? Is that what you mean? Let's see. Hardcore. It does almost nothing at first, but so does a road between two towns. It needs to exist before anyone needs. Yep. DAO directors. Yeah, DAO directors are currently the only high-level committee we currently have. Is that something you see being reasonable for DAO directors to take that on? I mean, not really within your guys' scope, but you know, you are correct. That is the only high-level committee.
The DAO directors are not. That's out of their mandate.
Yeah, it's not really their scope. People should be paid out on execution. Review should happen on execution. Yeah, interesting. Also, we don't need DAO Foundation and signers to be set up before we can add. That's nothing to do with it. Reputation. Yeah, hardcore. You touch on another important point here. Is being able to assign reputation. So this work can be awarded in Ghost, but can also be given task points. And so we can think about gamifying that a little bit. And maybe you need to have a certain amount of task points to take certain tasks, but not really directly involved.
Colony, if you guys have ever heard of that one, I honestly wish we could have used Colony for all this DAO stuff. It just seems like they never actually were able to ship anything useful. Could be wrong now. Maybe they've come a long way. But we had multiple calls Colony team over the years. They have a really cool system of reputation where if you like when you complete something, you can it increases your on-chain reputation. Everything is done on-chain. Really, really cool stuff. But yeah, I think in D-Work there's the idea of like story points, right?
Yeah,
Story
task points.
Kind of like a task points, yeah. So something like that, as long as it's linked to that address and that person, then yeah, we could. But I guess how would the story points get assigned? Would it be like, did you complete this perfectly and everyone in the DAO is happy with it, so you get full story points, or we're not that happy with it, but we're gonna pay you anyway?
Yeah. I mean, I think task points should definitely be assigned once the review is done and people are happy with the work. But the other thing with task points is there's a leaderboard attached to this. So like there could be ways to like, maybe you need a certain amount of task points or you need to have a certain place on the leaderboard to be able to access specific types of work. That's the other way to do it too. Well, that could be an additional thing added on where over time, our biggest contributors who have the most task points should be getting the really great jobs, in my opinion. You've done the work, like you've proven to the DAO that you're able to do really great work, and your task points would reflect that, which would give you, access to even higher tiers of work. Things that pay a little bit better. Maybe, well, I haven't really fully fleshed out that idea yet, and I can maybe start a discussion on that. But assigning task points in the leaderboard is something we definitely want to implement.
Sure, I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. Michael makes a good point. Gitcoin uses a great decentralized review process for submitted grants. We could look at something like that. But it does require multiple mixed participants. If only one auditor shows up, then there will definitely be a bias. So we'll maybe you and I will have a conversation around that maybe after the meeting or sometime soon. Looking at the other comments, one more here from Webb. Content structure for big projects need to be done in draws. Line share margin for implementation should be upon completion. There should be many points across the process where funding can be pulled due to incomplete sufficient quality work, similar to a big construction project. Yeah, I guess what I'm hearing is maybe having some sort of standardized template for submitting for work also, um, because that way you can list your milestones and accountability points during the whole process of the project. Okay, I don't know. I think in general, overall, really great feedback with this. We can start this implementation of D work and kind of chip away at it every week. We'll maybe go through a little bit. I'll make sure to stay on top of the bounties. We'll definitely add that to the Miro board. We'll add a section for active bounties, and every week I can remind you guys of what's out there on the D work for you guys. But this is the start of that, and happy to see people joining the D work here. And yeah, next week DAO mission statement. Okay, I got something here to show you guys. We're definitely been wanting to hit that mission and vision board for a while. I'll show you this real quick before we go, so you can start looking at it, get familiar with it. But Hardcore and I have kind of compiled all the discussion we've had over the last 5 months into this final. We're hoping this is the last one we ever have to make. But this is the final DAO vision and mission board. We kind of made it half worksheet, half summary of everything we've discussed, and hoping we can get to consensus on that in the next week here, or next 2 weeks or whatever, but pretty soon. I think it's gonna be really important for us to be all engaged, and the conversations over the last few weeks definitely. I've definitely thought we could really use a mission statement right now, looking at some of the conversation. But yeah, have a look at that. If there are things you want to contribute to on mission and vision Miro board, we have stickies on certain parts here where you can contribute, and so you just can click on the little sticky notes and you can add your contribution.
Yeah, I do see Choina's message here. We do have Aavegotchi.
I mean, it's a pretty easy for us to switch over. It's literally pretty much both set up the same way. I wasn't aware that you guys set one up. So yours says the official D-Work hub of Aavegotchi DAO.
Yeah.
What we'll do is it shouldn't take much. If you guys want to give me access to it, you'll have to do that though, because I don't have access to your. So if you do that, we can switch over. It's not a big deal, to be honest. But
I'll
I
add that
appreciate
to
you
my list for tomorrow to do.
Yeah. Oh, Goobs. Yeah, quick shill here. Definitely give Goobs Thread some love here. Let's share it. I think he did a really good job of explaining what an Aavegotchi is, portals, collateral tokens, traits, kinship, experience, and rarity farming. So
nice.
Really great summary of all those things, and great way to get people going down that rabbit hole. So really appreciate you doing that. And definitely like, share, subscribe.
Did the main retweet that already? Sure.
Yeah, we should definitely get the main to retweet that. Get that some love. Love the Aavegotchi threads going out this week. 14 more threads coming. Dang, Goobs the Threador.
The Threador.
Yeah, nice.
Man, a good thread is it can be so good. You guys, everyone, writing is the most important skill you guys can learn.
Yeah.
If you want to increase your influence and your thinking and everything, just learn to write.
Yeah.
Keep trying and keep improving on it, because it's such a powerful skill.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll recommend, even if you're not the best, for me, I love writing, but my grammar and spelling was not the best when I first started. I started using Grammarly. So it's a little Grammarly shill here, but it really does improve your writing, especially if you get the paid version. That's the secret. That's the secret to writing really well, is using technology alongside your own skill set. So.
Yeah, there's a bunch of tools out there for threads. I mean, a lot of it is actual content, but the key to a thread is having a good hook. the first
Yeah.
line of that thread's gotta convince people to click into it. So that's where you gotta sell it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, agree, Grim. Grammarly integrates with Discord nicely. Absolutely. Yeah, very cool. So that wraps up the discussion for today. We'll kick off with the mission and vision next. Do you have any last thoughts here for today?
Buckle up, friends.
Buckle up.
It's gonna be a crazy next month, I think.
Yeah, pack your bags. We're moving.
Yeah, this year's gonna be nuts.
Man, it's been so exciting.
I'm just hoping the macro keeps its shit together. That's just what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I don't want that, like, the FCC crashing down on all sorts of stuff, and just, you know, a lot of it depends on what what Bitcoin does. So hopefully things will go good or sideways for the next half a year. It'd be nice, but you never know. Buckle up.
Buckle up. You're on this ride with us. Thank you to all 66 people made it to the end of the meeting with us. Got you gang strong. I don't know anything
Seriously.
like this out there. That like a week, like a weekly meeting every Sunday where like over 60 people show up every weekend. That's amazing. So you guys should be really proud of yourselves. We're part of.
That's awesome.
We're reshaping governance. You guys see what's going on around the world right now. It's messed up. Like it's even where I live, like one of the most democratic countries. It's all messed up.
Yeah.
And so we're reshaping governance. We're reinventing governance. So this is I know what we do is a lot of fun, but we're also reshaping the future in some way. And so this is really very early. And yeah, that's all I got. So, but otherwise, enjoy your weekend, friends. We got GM with GMI every Monday to Friday. We're going to be doing a space in the morning. Get your coffee. We do it at 3 p.m. UTC. So just, an hour offset from where these meetings are at. And it's a good conversation about everything cool happening on Polygon, Lens, and Aavegotchi, of course. So definitely come check us out. It's hosted by 5 of us. 5 of your favorite Gotchi gang are up on stage. And we've had some pretty cool guests come out from Polygon, actually, and join us on the show. So definitely come check us out. We'll be going live tomorrow morning at 3 p.m. UTC.
Hey, a real quick thing. If anyone knows how to set up a multi-sig on Lens that you can, what do you call it when you tweet on Lens? Like you can lens from?
Yeah,
we really want that. We talked with Stanley the other day. He pointed out like Cora DAO, but we haven't. If anyone like knows how to do that and could walk us through it, that'd be really helpful, because we definitely want to be active on Lens, but we want to make sure that the Aavegotchi handle is secure. So we want to do it from a multi-sig. So if anyone knows how to do that, feel free to reach out. I know it's possible, but it's a little bit weird. So we might have to reach out to like the Core DAO guys, but there's got to be a way to do it. Because Stanley was like, it's going to be a couple more months before they get the next version of Lens out. So we don't want to wait that long.
Yeah, there's so many dApps out there on Lens. I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if someone's come up with some sort of a.
You'd think so, but yeah, it still seems to be stumping Stanley.
Huh. I'd regularly look on their apps to see what they got going on here. Oh, I don't know if you've seen this, Killer Dan, but there's like a ton of apps on here. I haven't even made my way through all of them. See, maybe there might be something in there.
I mean, I know there are. It's just I don't think there's one that supports Gnosis Safe yet.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, soon enough.
Cool, friends. Have a lovely Sunday. See you guys later.
Absolutely. Yeah. Take care. We'll see you next
Peace.
week. Peace.